Hello YouTube, welcome to my channel once more with another PGA Tour 2K23 video. We are finally back on the grind, and here we go with another CC playthrough. Thanks for sticking with me, folks. I'm sorry I have been in a, shall we say, terrible mindset. I've been taking a break from the game, and that meant I haven't streamed in like 3 weeks, and I haven't recorded a video in 2. One of those weeks was TPC Scottsdale, so forgive me for wanting to skip that week, and then I just needed another break. I needed another week before I got back into it. So today we begin anew with making the CC guides. I hope we can continue to do this throughout the season, even if I am not playing as much of this game. I'm just a bit burned out. When you play and stream all your rounds for like 2.5 years, sometimes you just need that break. You need a little recharge period. So I've been playing some League of Legends, some Skyrim, some Football Manager, and some other games, just giving myself some variety and a way to relax. The Masters are coming up this week. Is also a qualifying for the Firethorn Legends Cup, which is basically the TGCTours version of the Masters. So head into the Special Event Society if you want to try to qualify for the Masters. It is the top 25 out of everybody that's not in Platinum. So you honestly have a chance. It's going to be tough. The conditions are going to be very hard, so good luck if you decide to do that. But here we are. As you can see, the course's name is Port Fisherton by a PlayStation designer named Grimslow 40. He's a new designer to TGC, so we're about to see his first course that is tour worthy on the tours, so that's really exciting. Every round will be played from the black tee box, and there are some varied conditions. There are 2 high wind rounds. 2 high wind rounds in this, which is something you more expect out of the Pro Tours. So we're gonna have something spicy. Not only that, the greens are quick all week, and there's a very fast green speed round. And so I've decided we are going to preview that very fast green speed round. Let's look at the course details. Let's look at the defaults, because in round 1, everything is default other than you get high winds and northwest winds. So go back into the video. You can get a little preview of round 1 conditions if you want. I have just revealed them because I am revealing another rounds conditions for this. But you have firm, and medium fast, which is that's around the 155. I think it's somewhere between 150 and 155 for default green speeds. So there you have it. And it is a longer course, 7,300 yards from the black tee box. And so you will be playing that all 4 rounds. And let's look at the conditions. Black tees. Pin 2. So round 2, here we go. Low winds, default wind direction, so I don't know exactly where it's going to come from. It'll be different, but it's low wind, so it doesn't matter too much. We're just going to send it. Moderate firmness on the fairways, and soft on the greens with very fast green speeds. And this is why I wanted to do this round, because I know people are going to get thrown off. Afternoon and clear for your time of day and weather, and let's get into it. So the biggest thing about very fast greens is you're trying to avoid those downhill slopes on the greens. You want to try to make sure you leave yourself an uphill putt at almost any point. It is far better than anything to leave yourself an uphill putt, because doing otherwise is exceedingly tough on very fast greens. It is so hard to stop the ball. Obviously, we will get to see if it's that hard based on the greens and how he's designed the course. just keep it in mind. You have soft green firmness, so you're going to be able to land it pretty close to the hole as long as you can get it to stop with the roll. So as you can see, these greens, they move quickly. Even though they're like green lines, they're moving very quickly. So yeah, this is tougher, but at least it's not like a pin close to this red slope over here. As you can see, it moves really quickly and it runs off the green. So biggest thing this week is to be confident in yourself and hit your approaches close. That's a good feeling. I've taken about like 30 or 40 practice swings in the past 2 weeks, so I am very rusty. I played maybe 2 rounds total in the past like 2.5 weeks. So we're rusty, but we're gonna get to it. So you have a wedge in hand, which is your goal. You're gonna be wanting to get as many wedges in your hand as possible. And then use the right stick as well to add spin onto a lot of shots. Here, with a wedge, you don't really need to. I'm mostly using it for distance control, but keep it in mind. Downhill lie is going to want to take this a little further, so play it short. A little slow, but perfect distance. As you can see, even with the spin, it still wanted to roll out the little touch. That's the biggest thing about 186s, the very fast greens, is that they like to just keep moving. So anywhere where it's going to be more yellow, it's going to keep running. The cool thing is, though, you get to use these back slopes a little bit better with these green speeds. So here, there's a lot of bunkers. There's a lot of circular pot bunkers literally everywhere. It's a pretty course otherwise, but probably overdone on these pot circle bunkers. It's kind of funny to look at. But the biggest thing, avoid them. You can lay it up short, because look at 380. If you get to 270, right? That's still 110 yards out. That's like a perfect distance for me. So in this scenario, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to take my 3-wood and I'm going to take off some, because I'm going to hit it like 102 as I always do. And it's downhill and it's going to roll out some. So let's take some distance off. Get it into the fairway. Be short of those bunkers. Don't have to risk anything. As you can see, 91 yards away. So a little too close still, but I'm okay with this. Like 95, 96. So we're just going to loft it a bit. Look at your lie. Look where you're trying to aim. I'm liking this a lot. It's gonna be a little long. And this is the one thing about hitting the lob wedge in is don't overspin it. Just get it kind of close and let it roll in. Your goal is to get as many stuck closely. With 2 short holes to start off, you have no worries in that regard. Here, if you get it a little too far on this right side, let's say you're a lefty and you fast it, it's going to want to keep running. If you hit here, it's going to fly off of this slope and probably end up somewhere out here. Worst case scenario, it climbs over this slope and gets back here, and then you're not going to have fun. But the cool thing is, if you do like slow it as a righty, it'll go like over here and then might come back a little bit. So that's cool. But I'm going to try to play it on the left side of the hole. Obviously, if you land it here in this area, right, you're going to have like an uphill putt with a little bit of break, but not too much. Obviously, if you can land it right in front of the hole, it's better, because you will have barely any break and it'll be an uphill putt. But somewhere in this region is going to be a good shot. Obviously, you want to try to avoid over here, because then you'll have a downhill putt, and that's not going to be fun. It's like downhill both ways too, especially if you get far enough. If you're up here or something and it stops somehow, it's not going to be fun. But let's see how it reacts, right? This is what testing is for. This is what practice rounds are for. See how it reacts to the green firmness and everything. A little fast is unfortunate. Let's see if it settles. It does, so it's not in a terrible spot. As you can see, uphill putt at least, a lot of break. So playing for the left side isn't the worst idea. Obviously, if I hit that perfect, it's going to be a lot closer and a little shorter. And I would be super happy with that, but you live with the cards you're dealt. Got the perfect power. Read the break decently well. Not the best putt, but I'm not ashamed of it. We didn't lose it, and that's the big thing about these very fast greens. Do not overhit it too badly, or else you're going to be in really bad spots. Right here, same concept. You're going uphill this time, so you can kind of bombs away it. I'm going to reduce some of the distance because it's the same principle as the hole earlier. Leave yourself a good number, and you'll have a nice wedge in, full wedge hopefully. But a pitch shot is not bad either. As you can see, lots of downhill slope, so if you land it short, it's going to want to roll for quite a bit. But being long is going to leave you with a slight downhill putt, so it's kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. Leaving it to the left and uphill again is probably the best option. So keep all that in mind. I don't know my tempo right now. I'm just kind of hitting it and hoping it feels good, and so far so good. I'm gonna de-loft this just a touch, give us a little extra distance because I want to get this as close to the pin as possible. Play it for that left side. Ooh, a little slow. But luckily the de-loft gave it that little bit of a bounce to get it there. And these are the trickiest putts, honestly. Just trust yourself. Oh! Like I said, those are tricky. Those are really tricky. And as you can see, like the slow put me on the other side of the pin. Wow, that didn't break at all. That was a weird one. As you saw, if you slow it and you're on the right side, you get a really bad shot. So I advise not to do that. Okay, tough fairway to land into. If you're confident with your tempo, go for it. Otherwise, use the ground game. You have a slightly wider area here, so as long as you hit somewhere in the fairway, you will probably stay because it cambers to the right over here and it cambers to the left over here. So like playing it short, a little shorter with de-loft or a partial can be better. It's a par 5 though, so getting as much distance out of it is usually advisable. But it's not a substantially super long, crazy par 5. So if you're comfortable with your hybrids or woods, it's perfectly fine to play a little different, a little shorter. But it is a front pin, so it is tricky. If you do have a wood or a hybrid in, use the slope, play it out here. Use this slope back here to bring it back a little bit and you'll have a downhill putt, but it won't be a ton of break and it'll give you a chance, because landing it short and running it up is going to be difficult because you have to clear this bunker, get it to bounce somewhere around here, and then get it up here. Probably you need to land back here, and it looks like it's going to kick you kind of far to the right. So if you're going to play a shot that lands short of the green and rolls up, you have to kind of land here. Now, if you have a iron in your hand like I do, you can kind of go at the pin directly with some loft or spin. So we're going to loft it slightly. Lay it out here. Happy being on the left side here. Again, we're trying to give ourselves as much room as possible. As you can see, even with the iron, it wants to roll out. These 186s are crazy quick. And then here, just don't overcook it. Don't overhit it too badly. Oh, just didn't start breaking for a while. But like you saw right there, if I hit that a little lighter, might have broken that little bit more and been a good putt. I think I overhit it, but I'm not sure. It's hard to tell. All right, here we go. So as we saw in the last shot, even your irons are going to roll out some. Luckily, we have a 7 iron in hand. It's going to roll out a little less. We're kind of landing it, you know, play it safe. Try to aim for like right around here, because if you aim right at the pin, right, if you slow it, you have a slope that feeds to the hole. If you fast it, it's going to be tough. You know, you have to pick your poison here. Do you aim right at the pin, knowing a fast might roll off the green, but a slow will be safe over here and roll down? Or do you aim more over here so your fast is like in a safe spot right here, but if you do slow it, but if you perfect it, it'll be like right here and then roll out to here? That's like the absolute best aim, it looks like, possible. So I think that's what I want to do, is to aim here and save myself in case I get a fast. Obviously, I shank it, so I need to re-aim. Let's see it ride this slope. I put some spin on it just to see how it would react. As you can see, if you get it anywhere in that like 183 or 184 range, it'll funnel towards the hole. As you can see, that's beautiful. But I am risking a slow there is going to put me with a really bad downhill putt. So if you are somebody who tends to slow it sometimes, you might want to aim left and then take the chip if you get a fast, right? It's about knowing your play style, how you play. I'm going to put some shape into this. I want it to make sure we don't get into the rough or in a really bad, weird angle. It looks like we did a good job there. Big slope. Sometimes it's handy to go down into this view just to see. You know, this is a pretty severe slope. The red already indicates it, but sometimes you can end up in like a weird flat spot. So verifying that you're actually angled is very helpful. I'm going to aim on the right because of this slope. It's very severe. I think it basically cancels out my thing, out my shank. But if you play for this left side, you'll have an uphill putt, and that's nice. But then if you fast it, you're going to have a chip again. And then, and if you aim out here, well, it's going to be a downhill putt. So choose what you want to do. I'm not going to say it again. You know what I want to say. A little slow, but as we saw, I aimed pretty good there. Slope was very severe. Alright. This is a fun little track. I like the fairways. They're really shaped well. So here, you have some heavy rough. This is a brutal fairway. It's very narrow. It's all about tempo check. If you land on the left side of the fairway, it'll be in a nice place, but obviously the more right you are, the more chance it is to bounce to the right. Just play it up here, hit it fast, and use that slope to carry us down here. So I aim there. Another par 5 and another shorter one. We're going to land this short, but as you can see, there's some downhill slope, so we had to weigh everything. And my idea here is we have a slope back here. We're probably going to have to use it. We're probably going to have to use this back slope. We're going to try to put some spin and loft on it, but obviously it's going to be very difficult to stop. Big slope at our feet. Ah, the fast. The fast. If that's perfect, that looked so good. And this is tricky. We're going to full off full spin, because I think that's the only way we can get it to stop. And I slowed it for good measure. Hey, look, water. Another narrow fairway, laying up, not the worst option. I'm gonna lay up a little bit. Especially since it's downhill anyways, you're gonna get a lot of distance out of your drive, even if you de-loft it. So we'll put ourselves in a good spot. A little in between close, but not really, because of the uphill. As you can see, very heavy slope downhill at the pin. So we need to land this a little bit short, or land it a little bit like pin high with a ton of spin so you have an uphill putt. You have two options here. So either land it here-ish and it'll stop, or land it, you know, here with all the backspin. Or loft. I'm going to loft it. I'm going to put spin on it. I'm going to try to land it a little short. Especially since I have like a weird lie at my feet. God, the fasts are out to kill me today. See, but this isn't a bad spot to be. We aimed pretty well. We actually have a chance at this putt. Not the best chance, but it's a chance. I will take a chance. Surprised. Oh my goodness, that went. It's downhill at the hole, so it seems like no matter where you end up, it's going to be a really tough putt. We'll take a bogey. So if you end up there, be more careful. Don't do what I just did. You know, take the power off. That's why inspecting your greens is very important. I did not respect the green right there. Same deal, lots of downhill slope towards the hole, but luckily it's flat at the hole, so you can kind of use this slope to funnel the ball down towards the hole. There we go, finally a perfect. It's been a couple holes since we hit a perfect approach. Ah, just turned so much at my feet. And you could see why this is such a tough round. These fast greens are tough to read compared to what you're used to, and power matters so much. So get some experience on them. You're gonna need it. Anywhere short is gonna be good here. You're gonna have an uphill slope, and it's beautiful. If you're past the hole, this is a lot of downhill. It's gonna keep rolling until it finally finds a flat spot. It'll probably roll out to here if you're behind the hole, and putt it. So I'm gonna play a lot of loft here and play it intentionally very short. There's our perfects. They're starting to come in. I still got it a little long, but because I hit it perfect and got the distance really close, that's not a bad putt. But landing a little shorter is probably a little better. All right, another narrow choke point in the fairway. If you're confident with your tempo at this point and you're feeling like, man, I'm hitting everything, go for it. You know, you have protection as long as you don't hit a super fast or a pretty bad slow, you're gonna be in a good place. I'm not confident with my tempo right now, so I'm gonna de-loft. I'm gonna play it shorter and let it roll out a little. As you can see, even on moderate firmness, it's still gonna roll out some. And then here, it's a very similar shot to the last hole. Uphill in front of the hole, but a little downhill if you're past the hole. This one isn't as severe, so you will be able to stop it pretty easily. But uphill elevation, just gonna play it a little short. Starting to hit perfects non-stop though. Feels very good. Ooh, that got a really nasty kick. So, right at the edge of the green is downhill, apparently. I did not see that. No wonder that kick so far. So, be careful if you're landing it that short. I knew I was risking it a little bit, so... Nobody to blame but me. Kind of did it on purpose. But, it's pretty flat past the hole, so... As long as you don't fast and are terribly far away, it'll be a pretty easy putt. Another narrow spot, but over here you do have a fairway to play for out here. There is a tree you have to keep in mind, but playing out here is probably the best. If you really want to cut out distance, you can kind of attack this, and then you'll have a pitch shot in because it should get to right in front of the bunker, and you'll have like an 84-yard pitch shot. I'm going to play it out here. That's fine, right? It increases the distance, but it gives me a good angle into this pin. Gives me lots of green to work with, but it will be a little more downhill. So do keep that in mind if you want to go for out here. I'm even going to cut out some of the distance with some shot shaping once more. Put myself in the fairway in a nice spot. 123, I am perfectly happy with that. I'm going to have to loft this club to bring down the distance. Downhill lie at my feet as well. Got to keep that in mind. But we are taking a wedge in, so it will stop if you put it in a good spot. I'm liking my tempo right now. It's starting to come together. Starting to figure it out. It's like riding a bike, huh? I hit that a little firm. I did not break nearly as much as I thought, but got in the hole. 326, you have a drivable par 4. This is going to roll a lot. So because of the general shape of the green, aiming more on the left side of the green is going to be better. But you are risking it. You have bunker here, bunker there, bunker here, bunker here. Whereas if you aim more out here, like, you're going to be pretty safe no matter what. You will have an uphill chip. But you'll be able to stop it because, as you can see, this is uphill. So, I'm not going to say it. Pick your poison. I said it. We're going to play it out here. See if we can get this. Got the perfect. Let's see how far it goes, and let's see where it rolls. I did not shape it at all or anything. I just wanted to see where it goes from there. So as you can see, you're going to need to control your distance a little bit. You're going to want to land it on more of an uphill slope. You're going to want to land it like in this vicinity to get it to stop more. You can get it to land here-ish, and it will funnel towards the hole a little closer than mine did. But I'm pretty happy from here, right? You can putt it from here if you want. You like your Texas wedge, go for the Texas wedge. But I like chipping. I don't mind chipping. I make like 1 out of every 3 on a good day. I'm happy with those odds. But it is 186s. They roll forever, so add some spin. Or just get it in the hole. Like I said, 1 out of every 3. I'm pretty confident. And if you could get to 1 in every 3, 1 in every 2 chips you make it in from like 8 yards or less, you're in the best of company. That's like top level stuff. So you could Bryson this. You could just send it as far as you want here, and you'll have a shot straight at the hole. But playing from the rough is always risky. I would rather play from the fairway. You control, you know the power you'll have and stuff. Right? You're always going to have somewhere between 97 and 100% lie on the fairway, whereas if you're in the rough, you never know what you're going to be dealt. So if you want to go for the Bryson overpower, go for crazy, there's like a fairway tee box way up there if you're really psychotic. I'm not that crazy. I'm just going to go for the fairway, put some shape onto it because it's cambered left to right very severely, and just play out here. Play a low cut. I don't know. I don't know if that's called a cut. I believe it is because you're cutting across your body or something. I don't know. I don't know golf. I just play it as a video game. Alright, if you land it on the right side here, it's going to funnel a little bit towards the hole, but you're going to have like a downhill putt. Aiming for this side of the green is still a good option, but obviously there's a risk that you end up on the left and it's going to funnel off the green, so be careful. Big red slope at your feet, so we're going to aim to the right. I hit it straight, so it didn't go as far right as it usually does, but like I said, like over here is pretty good as long as it doesn't go down the next slope, because you have an uphill putt without a ton of break. I need to add a little more power. It's 3 inches up. Oh, that's so cruel. That is something to keep in mind. The power on 186 greens is not calculated very well. If you tend to hit 1% under the power or hit the perfect power a lot on your putts, on 186's uphill putts, you're going to want to start adding a couple feet to your putt every time. Maybe like on the shorter ones and slightly uphill, it's only going to be like 1 feet, 2 feet at most. But if you have like a, I don't know, an 8-inch putt uphill and it's from like 50 feet away and you tend to hit the under power, add 3, 4, 5 feet, okay? Trust me, unless there's a slope behind the hole, you'll thank me later. That is sage advice from Kara. You have a longer iron here. Landing it short is your best option. A lot of slope left to right, but obviously the more left you aim, the more chance you have to just hit a fast and be off the green. So you gotta choose. Do you want to play those risks, or do you just want to be on the green? Because being on the green, you can't go wrong. Chipping from here downhill, little scary, right? This is a little scary of a chip, especially if you end up in the rough somehow, because it's sloped very heavily, that if you hit the left, it's going to come down here. So, it's a risk. You're going to have to play that risk. It's going to roll out a lot. I hit it slow, so again, like I said before, being on the green, better than being off the green in this situation because it's so downhill. Like, you guaranteed want to be here rather than off the green. Because at least this isn't a lot of break and it's an uphill putt. I love those odds. I don't know if I hit it hard enough. I didn't. I hit it, like, before the vibration, unfortunately. But we're doing good. I'm really happy with this, even though we hit the bogey. Alright, so there is a shortcut. If you have wind at your back in one of these rounds, you can kind of go for the shortcut on the left side. But otherwise, just try to hit it into this part of the fairway. It's a shorter par 4. Another draw to help us out. Right. A huge lie at our feet is going to take our ball really far right. And being on the left side is tough because it wants to roll off the green. This is a really tough pin location, one of the tougher pin locations this round, because you have a wedge in hand or a short iron. It's going to be You know, like, you're expected to score here, but don't feel bad if you end up missing this green or not having the easiest putt. This is a tricky situation. I had to de-loft my club, which makes it want to roll more, but luckily it is a wedge, so it still will stop. As long as you get it in the green on a good spot, it's going to stop here. It's if you're just a little too far left, it's going to roll off. If you're a little too far right, you're going to have an annoying downhill putt. Alright, par 5. This one is long. You're going to have to just trust in your balls. If you really hate these narrow pinch points in the fairway where it narrowed it by like 15-20 yards, as you can see, you have plenty of space here, but then it narrows up as you get further in, and on firmer fairways, you're going to have to contend with that. You can lay up, but it's going to become a 3-shot hole. If you are aggressive, add spin or loft to increase your distance and go for it. And as you can see, if you do fast it, you're in trouble. But luckily, there's enough camber to take us back into the fairway. But as you can see, we're still short. So there's a couple options. I could take driver, but it's going to have a very low trajectory. It's going to want to like land somewhere here and then bounce forward. It's kind of what I'm looking at. I'm going to add some spin to it to increase the distance and increase our lie percentage because our lie percentage is so bad. Hey, you can hit a 3-wood here. The 3-wood will probably get to about here. It'll probably die, but you'll have a chip. Won't be terrible. This bunker, you can't clear it with just the 3-wood probably, unless you got it far enough. So you have to make a decision. If you didn't land in the rough like I did, you probably have a better chance because you'll probably be like 10-15 yards further than I am. Fairway lie is going to take your ball really far right. And we ended up in the bunker. So as you can see, I probably need to put full spin on that. A lot of downhill slope, so we're gonna add a ton of spin here. I'm very happy with that. You can't stop it any closer, but this leaves you an uphill putt with not a ton of break. And there we have it. There you go, folks. With a bogey, with a bad mistake, putting mistakes. And that's the biggest thing. Even a plat player like me is going to fall victim to very fast greens on occasion. And that's why I wanted to show you this round. Because very fast greens is about controlling your power and adding just a little bit more break at times, depending on the length of the putt. The same moving grids are going to break more here. There's this weird, there's this really weird correlation thing where it's like the grids are moving quite a bit faster, but in reality, even if they're moving faster, they don't necessarily break a tremendous amount more. It's this weird thing where if it is yellow, you need to respect it way more. It's going to break way more than anything you've seen. But on those, they look like they're moving fast, but if they are very, very green, the grid colors, it's actually going to break like a similar amount as a slower moving green breed on the slower greens. It's hard to explain, but basically the color of the grids is going to be your friend in telling you how much something breaks or travels on slopes. So pay more attention to that, especially when looking at the pace of the putt. If you're on a yellow slope downhill, it's going to roll a lot on these 186s. They do not stop until they get to green parts of the slope. So if you don't play around that on these very fast greens, you're going to have a lot of trouble. Play for the slopes. Try to make sure you are always giving yourself an uphill putt. Obviously, tempo mistakes happen, but try to avoid putting yourself on a side where, ooh, a fast or a slow is in a bad spot here. Try to eliminate one of them at least. And play for that side of the tempo if you want your best results, because you do not want to be on downhill slopes. So control your distance. Make sure you don't go too far up a hill that leaves you a downhill putt. And make sure you look at the hole itself and see if there's downhill beads past the hole. That's where I messed up on that hole, where it said it was a flat putt, but that's because it went uphill and then downhill at the hole, and it ended up making me have that bogey. That'll do it for me, folks. Thank you so much for watching. This is my first recording video in a long time, so I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Like, comment, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. I'm hoping to get back to streaming pretty soon, but I'll know when the time is right. You know, when you're stressed and dealing with a lot in life, and then you feel the weight of expectation in a video game and it stresses you out, it's not good to play. You know, it's better to just take a step back, because video games are meant to be fun, and it was starting to feel like a chore at times playing this game, so I needed to step back. I'm feeling more refreshed, I'm feeling better, but I still need to keep a lookout for my mentality, so we'll be back streaming eventually. Maybe tomorrow, maybe tonight, or maybe in a week. We'll see where the wind blows. But thank you for supporting me. Love you guys, as always. Love you guys, mean it. Have a good week in CC for the Billy Mays Memorial at Port Fisherton by Grimslow. Had a good time, and I hope you all have a great time. Peace out. Love you guys.